Alright, so this is my, and it's probably like the first time a lot of you guys have saw me on webcam, but I did a YouTube kind of like review, back, I think, earlier this year, I think it was, on the Comcast, and, not to my surprise that, I had problems with my service shortly after getting it installed, but I still have it though. Some things that I don't like about it is that the thing with CenturyLink that I liked the most was how I was able to call them and get them to change my IP address if I needed to. But now with Comcast, they claim that they can't change my IP address, and that I have to basically unplug it and leave it unplugged for 24 hours and wait for the DHCP server, which is basically a thing that assigns your IP address from the server that Comcast uses or any internet provider uses to give you a IP address and whatnot. So basically now, when I set up security on my sites and stuff, and I get IP blocked because I have pretty tight security on a couple of websites that I work on. They keep hackers out and whatnot. So with that being said, I get IP banned a lot, and I can't call the data center all the time and have them help me out, which I should have my IP in a whitelist, which I normally do, but I normally remove it too. But long story short, I don't like that, because when I get banned from any site in general, I'd like to be able to get around the IP ban. Another bad thing is if you happen to be getting attacked DDoS, distributable denial of service attacks, or DDoS attacks for short, you pretty much are screwed, because you got nothing you can do to stop it unless you got like some type of hardware firewall. But most of us residentials don't. So I know I'm talking nerdy to a lot of you guys, but those are some of the stuff that I don't like since I've become a Comcast customer. My speeds, I think, are dramatically slower now than what they were when I first started out. I know certain sites I download really slow at. I download under what my download speed should be, unless the actual program that I'm downloading from has an accelerator that is able to boost the download speed. Then I don't see it, but I think that's typical because of how the internet is. Most websites are not throttled, which means that they're not able to give you your download speed, which the way I would assume that the download speeds actually work is by splitting the files into multiple files, and then that's basically how you get your speeds and stuff. But yeah, I haven't had much problems, I don't think, as to what I was having about I think a couple of months before I did this video. I recently got new neighbors that moved in, and I think that what happened is they complained to Comcast, and I think maybe got the lines fixed or something, or whatever the problem was fixed. But I haven't had as much problems as I used to have for some reason. A lot of people on my street have satellite or don't watch TV at all, so like I said, they don't complain as much as I do. I think there's only 2 people probably on my street alone, not including myself, that have Comcast services. So with that being said, they're not going to really do much for just a couple of people, as if it was the whole block that was having problems. But I did talk to the line tech that came out the day that my new neighbors that moved in were having problems, and I was talking to her. I was like, well, get used to it, because Comcast on this street has been terrible since I've lived here, and I've lived in this house for approximately over 13 years now, and we originally dropped Comcast because of the problems that we were having with the service, but I would say that Comcast probably hasn't changed, and they're probably one of the worst cable providers, with the worst reputation, and it seems that they don't really care either. They just care about making the money that they make from people by screwing them. But at the same time, the speed is alright. It's better than what it was. I'll have to deal with the problems. I've learned pretty much that when I have a problem with my internet, I don't even waste my time calling Comcast anymore. I'm just like, I don't really care, dude. I don't care. I just give up. It was just really sad because you really shouldn't have to, but I was like, wow, I'm not even going to get into it with these people on the phone because I'm going to end up going to jail with complaining to one of the representatives, because I mean, they're all idiots at Comcast. I mean, I don't even think that you really have to have well, it's obvious you don't have to have any type of skills to work for Comcast to begin with. I mean, they hire some of the dumbest people to work for that company, and if I was to tell them that in person, they would probably be offended, but it's true. A lot of the people that work there are completely computer illiterate and don't even understand anything about computers, and all they're basically doing is reading from a screen of what your trouble is. You call them up and they type in their little computer what the problem is you're having and see if there's a troubleshooting for that problem. Now, I'm supposed to be on a dynamic IP address, which is an IP address that's supposed to release and renew once in a while. I've had this same IP address now, and a lot of you guys can see my IP address in my speed test video, which was a mistake. I've had that same IP address now since I last did my video on my video review on my 105 megabit speed. That IP address still hasn't changed yet, and I'm not even supposed to have, I mean, it's supposed to be a dynamic IP, which means it's supposed to change, but I actually have a Technicolor, I know you probably can't hear me too well because I'm actually off past my microphone, but it is a TC8305C dual bundled router modem thing. The way I've always changed my IP address is by spoofing the MAC address with another computer on the network and all that stuff. I just don't really like the modem at all. I'd rather have a simple modem and I could use my own router, but the problem is there's a lot of you people out there who are new to computers and are just getting your internet in. You don't have a clue what type of router you need or how to set that stuff up, so likely Comcast, they just supply their customers with a bundled package just so you guys don't have to do that, but it forces people like myself to use it as well, which is kind of sad because I don't really like using the bundle thing. I'd rather use my own router, that way I can change my IP address freely rather than being forced to keep the same IP address. And it really sucks because I'm blocked from a lot of websites that I can't access now, and you know, it's pretty BS. And Comcast won't change my IP address for me, so I have to basically wait until my IP ban is lifted before I can access the sites again. And I'm not really sure how delayed my recording is, if it's even synced, because it doesn't look like I'm actually talking while I'm talking. It just looks like my mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out from the stream, because I'm actually recording this like through the upload feature for YouTube. I'm actually just woke up like an hour ago when I did this video because I decided to do an update video. I'm sure I probably didn't cover a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover about Comcast, but I still would recommend it, but my only thing is it's sad that I feel this way. I shouldn't feel this way about Comcast. Nobody should feel that way. But sadly, when it comes to needing technical support for Comcast, I've just utterly given up hope by getting help with any problems that I'm having, because I just don't have time to deal with stupidity, man. I mean, if you are gonna help somebody, at least have basic knowledge of computer stuff. And it really ticks me off when they don't want to get into the details of what's going on with my area. Reminds me of my power company. When I call them up when my power's down, they say it's a main line that's down. Recently, when that happened, they claimed it was a main line that was down. And basically, really what it was there's actually a fuse out on your telephone pole that's near the transformer. There's like a little, if you're in the U.S., some of you might have these little buckets that sit up on your telephone pole. Well, above it is a fuse, and basically what it has is it has a wire that plugs into it. And I'm going off topic, but simply what happens is that fuse is like a fuse in anything else. It is there to protect your device from being damaged. And that's what happens, is that fuse, that wire pops on it, and it keeps the device, it keeps the power from blowing up and having massive problems. So that is there as a safety mechanism for our pole. Well, a power company claimed there was a main line down, and I was without power for I think like 5 hours before the guy came out to simply take a pole, pop the fuse out off the pole, and then run a new copper wire onto the fuse, and then jam it back up into the socket. And they said it was a main line that was down. My long story short is, why can't they just go into I know a lot of you guys don't really want to hear that stuff. You don't want to hear the, oh well, it's a fuse on the pole. A lot of you wouldn't understand that stuff, but I'm the kind of person that likes to learn that stuff. I like to actually know what is going on. I like to hear the full details, even if it is over my head, just so that I have a full understanding. Don't tell me it's a main line. Go into details, bore me to death until I tell you to shut the hell up. But that's the same thing with Comcast. I know when I was completely way out there. But I like to hear the details. I like to hear where this line is having problems. What is happening? Is it a server? Is it a network card on the server that blew? Is the server down? Did it overheat? What's wrong with the server that my internet is being pumped into? Is the fiber optics cut? Go into details and tell me. Don't just tell me, oh, it's a main line, or there's approximately 1 million people in your area that are without service. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that 1 million people are out, but I would like to know what it is in detail so I can know for sure how long it's going to take, in my own view, of how long it's going to take to fix, so I don't have to sit there and keep calling all the time trying to figure out what's going on. That's just me, though. I ramble to the point where it probably bored you, and it's probably over your head to you, but that's just me. I'm the techno guy that I like to know what's going on in details, but, they don't like to tell you that kind of stuff. Maybe they don't really know. I don't know. But it's almost like what I feel like doing is I feel like getting a job at Comcast just to find out what the conspiracy is behind my problems that I was having with my internet. But I'm pretty sure what it is. It has something to do with the node, if I'm not mistaken. It either has something to do with the node or the satellite communication that the internet is coming from. But there is a conspiracy going on, is all I can say, with Comcast for internet, is all I know. I'll be glad when Google moves down to Florida and starts putting in fiber, or at least when CenturyLink comes down to Florida and starts upgrading our lines, especially in my area. I live in like the most run-down city in Florida that half the population probably could care less of how fast their internet is. But being how poor my community is, I don't see us getting upgrades here for a very long time. I think if you want to put my area into another state's area, you look at some of the places, like if you've ever been to Detroit, some of like the run-down areas in Detroit. That is basically what my hometown is. The town I was born and raised in is basically what my area is now. It is one of the poor neighborhoods in Detroit that is completely run down. Houses are being vacant and they're falling apart and stuff like that. That's basically my area. It might be like that for you too, but and to think that my town had a guy like Thomas Edison and the guy from Firestone or whatever, and some of these other legends that lived in my hometown actually lived here, and what it looks like now is amazing to see how funny that it is, because my area is so run down. It's amazing how poor my area is. It really needs a lift. And with the economy, it's only probably going to get worse. But yeah, long story short, we're not probably going to get upgrades. But it'd be nice to get some fast speeds, because I know in Las Vegas, CenturyLink has like 900 plus megabyte up and down speeds and stuff, which is got to be, which is just amazing compared to what I have now. And how reliable it is, I don't know. Might be worse, might not be. All I know is that CenturyLink had better technical support. I had a direct number to talk to somebody when I was having a problem. It was called IDS is what it was called. I had a direct 800 number because my internet was special compared to the standard DSL that CenturyLink offered. So I actually had a direct line to internet support, and the guys there were top notch. They were always on call, spoke English, and they were knowledgeable of what they were doing. I miss them now. Yeah, I almost literally broke into tears the day that I canceled my service with CenturyLink, and of course I'd love to join them again, but that won't happen sadly until we get better speeds in my area, because I require doing a lot of file uploading, and the good thing is I can get decent uploads when I'm uploading YouTube videos to YouTube. My upload is pretty decent. Like I said in my other video, my upload speed was what my download speed was for CenturyLink. So we're talking 2 megabytes being uploaded. Even though I don't get 2 megabytes uploaded sometimes, I get probably just maybe a little over a megabyte, but it's pretty fast when I'm uploading HD videos, because my videos are normally under 7 minutes, and my videos are, when I record them, they're not over, I'd say, like 50 megabytes if I'm lucky. This depends on how long my video is, but they're pretty small. I think the biggest one that I've seen so far is maybe 30 megabytes and stuff. Yep, that's pretty much my thing. I rambled on 20 minutes of boring you with stuff that probably didn't answer your question, but long story short is I'm not a happy customer with Comcast, and it would be nice to have a CEO to talk to about their services, but they really don't care. They're more worried about making money than caring what their customers say, because just the way they are, they really don't care. They got so many customers as it is. If you were to drop your service now, it wouldn't hurt them at all, So, yeah, that's my review. See you guys.